So in the last class we saw that how the Shruti and Yukti has established that the Karya-Karana Sambandha between Brahman and Prapancha. In reality, Shruti wants to highlight that in Karya, or I would rather say in Karana, Karya is visible, Karya is differentiated, Karya becomes different for an ignorant person. Whereas for a knowledgeable person, in Karanam, there is only Karanam, no Karya at all. And one of the best example is goldsmith and common person. A goldsmith, the gold that is Karanam of ornaments, sees as gold, nothing else. Whereas the one who does not have the knowledge of gold will look at ornament, not only the Karanam called gold, but will look at more as ornament. So this example is enough for us how in our day-to-day life we try to see things differently. Now he says, look, again he wants to go ahead with these examples after examples. Says about this clay world, verse number 67. Guhyamani ghate yadvat mrutikayati vaivalat vikshamani prapanchepi brahmi bhavati bhasuram. Says, look, here always there is ajnanam involved. How? Whenever there is ajnanam, there is ignorance. Always we see differently. Which is not supposed to see, but we see it. Which is very much evident, we don't see that. That's why in colloquially we have a beautiful example of Hanuman. Very nice example from our childhood. It has been taught that when Mother Sita was arrested in Sri Lanka, and of course she was kept in a beautiful place called Ashokavana. So it seems there was a beautiful lily pond full of lilies. And of course Hanuman went to visit, to rescue. First went and as a messenger, created all the nuisance, then did all these things. So he had also seen that, lily pond. and lilies. And later on, Lord Rama, when after the war reached there, to bring her from there, also has seen that lily pond. And of course, Mother Sita was staying there all the time. So after the war got over, when they came back to Ayodhya, it's a beautiful incident. From this I can go ahead. So that some talk started coming. Lord Rama said, look, you are in a beautiful place, such a beautiful place, and that too surrounded by these lilies, and that too white lilies. That time Hanuman objected. Oh Lord Rama, I cannot object to you, I am not supposed to object to you. You just went once, but I have gone few times, okay? I am senior in this regard. But when I went, it was full of red lilies. So how can you say white lily? In fact, along with you also I went, that time it was a red lily. So when there is a dispute, what to do, how to manage this dispute? So it seems Lord Rama said, okay, let us not argue. Let us find out from Sita. Whatever she says, because she was living there, I am sure we all will agree to it. Now Mother Sita is caught between a child and a husband. Whom to support, whom not to support. It seems she said, in fact, both of you are right. Then Hanuman objected, how is it possible? Either I have to be right or the Lord has to be right. You cannot say, you cannot support both. Please support either me or him. I don't have any issue. That time the story goes further. That Mother Sita said, why I say both of you are right? Because, look, in reality, both of you are wrong, but in transaction point, both of you are right. Both of them started looking at each other, what is happening? Actually, in reality, the lily was yellow in color. But when Hanuman came, he was so angry, full of anger. That's why everything appeared to be red. Whereas when Lord Rama came, the war was over, he was very peaceful, everything is settled, nothing is to discuss. As his mind was so calm, so he started seeing as white. But in reality, it was yellow. So this example explains our day-to-day life. And here he goes one step ahead beautifully, very nicely, stating that guhyamani yadvat ghate guhyamani mritikaha balat ayati. The moment we perceive guhyamani sati, when we start perceiving this ghata pot, what happens? Along with the pot, it is inevitable, balat, by force, automatically, inevitably. What we see? We see clay. You don't have to put effort to see clay. Because when you see the cloth, inevitably you see the thread supposed to. But what happens to you? You don't see the thread, you see the printing, or you see some spots, whether this spot is there, that spot is there or not, okay? Dirt. So that means mind is dirt, okay? Dirty. Let me not get into too much. What is highlighting here? while perceiving, while seeing the pot, it is inevitable, supposed to be. It is natural, it is spontaneous. By force, you are helpless to see the mritika, the clay. But most of the time, it does not happen. That's another problem. Just as, this is the example, Tadvat, what happens? He says, Lo, tathapi, so too, prapanche vikshyamani, when the creation is seen, perceived, experienced, bhasuram brahma evahi abhati. So bhasuram, the ever shining Brahman, alone indeed shines. But what happens to all of us? As I said, when we look at the pot, even though clay is inhabitable, we are supposed to see the clay, but always our focus is on pot. In fact, we see only broken pot or colorful pot. Can you see this point? So when we see broken pot or colorful pot, and we lose sight of the clay, now same thing also happens with reference to this prapancha, this universe or this creation. When we experience this creation, when we interact with this creation, we never understand that everything is done by or in and through Brahman. Because of Brahman, everything happens that we have seen in the last class. Whereas what we see it is me who does everything. It is me who is interacting. So that means I don't see, appreciate the karanam, but always I am focused on karyam iti. And this happens because of ignorance. Continue. Sadaivatma visudhopi yasuddho bhati vai sada yathaiva dividha rajuhu jnanino jnanino nishim. Says, look, he gives another example, okay, if this is not possible, because here there is this karya karana sambandha, as I said, and especially when the karya, or I would rather say when the karana goes through this parinama bada. So definitely it's a little bit difficult to understand, because Swamiji, after all, I pay not for cotton, but I pay for cotton plus. That's why, if it is, what do you call, designed by a great fashion designer, okay, world-class fashion designer. Same cotton, same cloth, the value increases. It's like, for example's sake, I'm trying to say this modern art. Okay? One beautiful example, I cannot forget once. I had been to a modern art show, I think I have said this thing. So I am supposed to, after that, to give the comment. To be very honest, I don't understand till now what is modern art, okay? And people pay huge money. Then as I was going and all these things, okay, somewhere I saw literal, nothing, just a plain plank. Some funny. I try my best, try to understand everything. Nothing I could understand. Then the person says, this is a table. What? How is it new type of table? How did it happen? In which angle does it look like table? I try to look at from all the angle. Maybe my eyes have some defect. In which angle does it look like a table? And the person was, Swamiji, if you lie down and look at from the bottom and look at the top of the table, how does it look? Can you see now from that angle? Oh, this is a new perspective of a table. And because of new perspective of a table, you have to pay, okay, nicely. How? Joke apart. How we look at, or we are brainwashed to look at the Karya rather than Karanam. This is what my point to highlight. And here it says, Lok. Leave that Parinamapada. Now we look at this technically Vivarta Upadana Karana. Because Ishwaraha is not Parinama Upadana Karanam, but is Vivarta Upadana Karanam. So he gives this example. The example is that Rajju and Sharpa. So when we look at this Rajju and Sharpa, now what happens? When the rope is lying down, now same rope is being perceived by two people differently. Jnaninaha, a wise person, a knowledgeable person, or the one who has got proper torchlight, or the one who has examined that rope clearly, properly, will look at that as a rope. Whereas Ajnanina, the ignorant person, so Ajnani will look at, who is Ajnani? The one who has not visualized, seen clearly the rope. There is no enough of light. In a twilight, means neither dark nor light, a twilight zone, the person assumes, and this association of with old experiences. Now the person comes to the conclusion that it is a snake. Now the same rope is lying down, whereas one looks at as rope, other one looks at snake. The one who looks at as rope has no problem, never goes through any change, and of course not afraid of anything. In fact, whether rope exists or not, it does not create much problem to that person. Whether rope lying down or not makes no difference. Whereas the one who looks at that rope as a snake, now every moment of rope, even if there is little bit sound out externally, or there is a breeze, what happens to this person? Maybe now this snake will become violent, lying down. Now look, maybe will become notorious. Every moment that happens externally, that creates some type of agitation, some type of uncertainty, some type of insecurity in the person. And the more the external world becomes violent or different or disturbed, the more the person becomes disturbed within. And this person always wants to be away from these so-called disturbances. And this getting or looking for solace, looking for peace, looking for harmony is present day people's wish. So when somebody says, I want some solace, I want some happiness, I am looking for this or that, means the person is suffocated. There is a lot of insecurity. The person does not know and wants some breathing space, not really wants happiness or solace. And you know my example. Sometimes I make mistake also. Not that I don't make. This my favorite example. The person who is living in a gutter, asking for help. Look, I am in a gutter. Help me, rescue me. What should you do? If you did not understand my sentence, you did not hear my sentence, nor you have experienced what you will do, you will say, I give my hand to rescue. Somebody said, no, because it's a gutter water, why should I toss? I will put a rope. But definitely I rescue. So each one will try your method to rescue. I also was doing the same thing. But what happened? Nothing happens. Because the person who has not fallen in the gutter water, who is living in gutter, there is a difference. Falling in gutter and living in gutter. So the one who is in gutter and asking for help, what does it mean? Maybe that water is so stinky. The person wants some relief. Splash some water. Maybe the fellow is hungry. Give some bread. And if you splash some water, spray something, nice fragrance comes, or give some water to drink, or a bread, or smile, or sympathize at least. That is called helping, and the person only looks for that. But enthusiastically, if you try to extend your hand to lift the person out, finally you will discover neither that person will come out, but you will end up in the same gutter. Just observe this example with you, with your nearer ones and dearer ones. That's why one has to learn. Of course, most of the time, even if you know, you misunderstand or you make mistake. However, says same thing also. Sada eva atma visuddha api hi ashuddha bhati vai sada. So even though here very nicely says that even though this atma sada eva visuddha, ever pure. Let us not waste time because we have discussed in detail. But even though it is ever pure, sada in time bound means for all the time, always, it happens to be, or it appears as though it is asuddha, impure. To whom? To an ignorant person. So that means for a knowledgeable person, for a wise person, Atma is Suddha because it is Suddha. Whereas for an ignorant person, Atma is Asuddha. Continuing. Yatheva mrunmayah kumbha tadvat dehopi chinmayah आत्मानात्मविभागोऽयं मुधैव क्रियते बुधैः. Says Lok. I think buddhaihi is it should be abuddhaihi or mudhaihi. Okay, so buddhaihi is a wrong word. Kriyate buddhaihi is a wrong word. How come this has been? So kriyate avagraha should come with buddhaihi. So that means while typing there is a mistake. Okay, it should be abuddhaihi. Because I read it, then I discovered what is this buddhaihi. How is it possible? Okay. Okay, either it should be abuddhi, avagraha, kriyate, abuddhi, avagraha, or it can be mudhi also, no problem. However, says Lok, yatheva mrunmayah kumbhah tadvat api chinmayah. So yathayeva gives the example just as kumbhah, look at a pot. So the pot is nothing, mrunmayah. He uses this play with the word mayat, because mayat has got two meaning. So one is vikare, mayat, other one is prachurye. So where we have seen this? We have seen in Tattvabodha. Because when we discussed that annamaya koshaha, pranamaya koshaha, manomaya koshaha, vijnanamaya koshaha, there the mayat means what? Okay, at least this much you can say, okay, please. Annamaya means what? It's only modification, okay, nothing else, okay, not prachurya, unless you keep eating, okay. Not abundance, okay, of food, no, not like that, okay. However, whereas Anandamaya is abundance. So here he brings this point nicely. Mrunmaya. So Mrunmaya, he says, look, Kumbhaha is nothing but Mrunmaya. It is modification of clay. So also, Dehaha api Chinmaya. This might playing with the word. So the deha, the body, is nothing but the abundance of chit, the awareness, the consciousness. So, if this is the case, now he says, look, whereas this Atma, Anatma, Vibhagaha, Ayam, Atma, Anatma, Vibhagaha. So this division into self and anatma, unreal, the real and unreal, atma and anatma. Kriyate is made by whom? By abudhi, by ignorant people, which is mudha eva. It has no meaning in vain. It has no value at all. That's why we have this story of Narayana. This is a traditional story. So there was a student who was studying under a teacher. After studying few years, then he discovered, I think this teacher is misguiding me. He is not right teacher. Because always says Atman, Brahman, everything is one and same. How is it possible? Look, I am different from God. So his samskar was so strong. So one day he said, I am going, and he left. He went to study some other teacher. After studying, few years, 10 to 12 years, equipped all the logics and everything, came back, to prove that I am right, you were wrong. That's what people do it, okay? Every time. How? And this teacher, being old already, again after 2 years much more elder. And of course, he saw this person. Hey, what is happening? Why you come? No, I want to discuss with you. What did you do? No, I studied a lot of scriptures, lot of Daya, all these things. Oh, fantastic. I want to discuss with you. Well, let us have discussion. Then the teacher said, hey, look, today is a Paurnami, full moon day, that too, Ritu Prarambha, because generally every Ritu means season, you can say. So when every season starts, so on that Paurnami day, some sannyasis, they remove their hair. He said, look, you know this is my regular thing. You know this barber, our barber, that old barber, same barber. Can you go and inform him that today I want to do Mundanam? So that he will come. Then after that, of course, we'll discuss. Don't worry. So this old student, now who is competent enough to fight, reluctantly goes to invite or call this barber, and whose name was Narayana. So Narayana comes with his old razor and whatnot to do all these things, and started selling. Wow. So after saving, he had a broken, this mirror. Always they will have a broken mirror. And handed over to this old guru. Please have a look at it. Is everything okay? The moment the guru saw, the face is so shining, so nice, so different. He said, hey, Narayana, you are really a Narayana. And he tried to do namaskaram to him. And this barber Narayana could not take it. He said, what are you doing? Such a great, you are a person, Mahatma. And I have been serving you, I know in and out of you. How can you do namaskaram to me? How can you say that I am the Lord? Hey, my name is Narayana. That does not mean I am Narayana. You understand? My name is Narayana. That does not mean I am Narayana. I am different from Narayana. Don't do this, don't do this. He started shouting and ran away. And meanwhile, the student understood where he was wrong. Because to know that I am different from God, I don't have to study any scripture. I don't have to be a religious person. I don't have to do anything, because by birth, by instinct, I know I am different from God. More of it we will say.